Hello everyone, this is Sarah from Church Mouse Tours. Now today I'm coming from Timahoe in County Laois. Timahoe, also known as Timahoe or Timahoe, is named after its patron saint. His name was Timahoe. He is one of 58 Timahoes from Irish history, but this is the oldest one. He died in 657. And his feast day is actually Christmas Eve, so the 24th of December. Now, Timahoe, he was a soldier who actually became a monk later in life. He was well known for his church building, but his most famous, I would imagine, is this one here, the beautiful Timahoe. Now in the background you can see the round tower and the more modern church. I'll be going through the graveyard now just to show you some of the amazing carvings that you can find here. The round tower here at Timahoe, it's about 30 metres tall. It still has its conical shaped roof on it. And down here you have, I definitely think this has to be the most beautiful portal into a round tower. It's carved, and we believe it was the same stonemason who carved Collection worked here, and they were roughly working around the same date. Now, we don't know whether Dermot McMurrough was a patron, but what we do know was his mother came from the royal family in this area. There are carvings of heads all along the capitals, and there's one very famous carving down at the very bottom. You probably can't see him. He's a bearded figure that appears to have a little man eating a Eucharist in front of him. Now this is often called a Sean ní Ghaidh. Now before we say what a Sean ní Ghaidh is, we have to talk about who was Sheila ní Ghaidh. Sheila ní Ghaidh is a woman. She often appears in the nude in many churches, and we think she may have been either a fertility symbol or a warning against vice. But we honestly don't know why there was Sheila ní Ghaighs. A Sean ní Ghaidh is a male version. They are very, very rare. This is the first one I have ever seen. It's hard to say whether this is in fact a Sean ní Ghaidh, but he's definitely a very interesting little figure. And you can see this is a Romanesque style arch, carved out of mostly sandstone. I think there is another stone involved there, but it is a stunning carving. And this round tower, as you can see, it's very tall. It was 6 little platforms that the monks could climb up. A sailor actually climbed the outside and managed to reach the very top, and he won a money prize, and he managed to safely get back down. Now, why would a door be decorated to this extent? One of the reasons is it's believed that the crozier of St. Timahoe may have been placed in this door as a relic. Is that true? We don't know. But all we can say is the round tower, it is beautiful, and well done to the sailor who climbed it. Behind me is the door that opened into the Romanesque oratory. It was later converted into a castle in around the 16th century. And we have some beautiful carvings that are slightly on display. The door, as you might be able to see, was bricked up. We think, just as we were talking about Sean Nigig, there may have been a Sheila Nigig who was carved into this door, which would be astounding. As I say, a lot of the carvings can't be seen because of the bricks that were put in place for structural reasons, but it would be great if this door could be opened up and we could see those carvings. If you can just have a look at the doorway, just above it you can kind of see where the stone changes from where the oratory would have been to where the castle began building. Now, you might think the entrance to a church was a very peaceful place, but there is actually immense rivalry between two families, what we would now call the O'Moores, and they were called the Gilly-Murraghs. What happened, the Gilmorras, they were sort of in charge of Timahoe, and they took care of the crozier of St. Moku. Now, usually if you had a relic, sometimes it gave you great power, and it also meant that you could win in battles. So the leader of this area, the O'Moores, they wanted to take the crozier. Everyone knew that there had been a bit of unfriendliness between the two families, so they were brought to the church here in Timahoe, and they were asked to swear an oath that they wouldn't fight with each other. They did so. That lasted till about the point that they got to the door. So they swear the oath at the top of the altar, they walk down, reach the door, and the O'Moore kills the Gilmorra. So that wasn't great. He then took the crozier, but he would later die in another very famous Laois monastic settlement in Ahabo, which is associated with St. Canis, who Kilkenny is named after. So relics could actually be the cause of great turmoil. Now guys, this is just a hint of some of the gorgeous carvings that lie in the oratory door. So it would be amazing to see more. I've heard they may be from the 15th century, but even if we could get a scope in there, which I think there has been talk about, that would be amazing. So I would say keep an eye on Laois Heritage. They're doing brilliant work here. And here we are inside Timahoe's Heritage Centre. Here you have St. Makua, his knitted friends. This is the rooster, the fly, and the mouse. And there is a poem that goes along with it. The little pets of St. Makua. When St. Makua knelt to pray each morning at break of day, there was about the house a rooster, a fly, and little mouse. 3 willing slaves to serve him well and share his solitary cell. The rooster every morn would crow and wake him for matins, though when he slept too sound to hear, the mouse came forth and nipped his ear. And though he never had a clock, the mouse would call or the cock. And if he had to leave a book from out some dusty hidden nook, a fly with patience and with grace would sit for hours and mark the place. And I love the faces on these guys. Just another really interesting, there is a recreation of a non-Christian high cross, similar to one found in Kildare. So definitely check that out. And when you come to the Timahoe Heritage Centre, you have to make sure and go to the Tower and Bean. So we have the knitted rooster, mouse and fly inside, but outside we have this amazing carving. It's beautiful, almost silver and stone, and the fly as he marks the book. We can't underestimate the importance of the monastic garden. This was where the monks would grow herbs, often not only to season their food, but for their healing properties, which they would use in the monastery, but they would also help the communities. They would have also grown materials that they used as dyes to make their ink, to make manuscripts. And you can see here in Timahoe, there is an excellent recreation of the monastic garden. There's also a wild area left for the bees. And I think that is just a remarkable mark of respect to nature and to the tradition of St. Makua.